sure everything's working here. Tilt that down a little bit. Hello, everybody. There we go, that's better. How's everybody doing today? Happy Thursday. Happy Cimarron Dove birthday, book birthday. I'm so excited. Can't believe it's been a year. It's crazy. Who's here? Let me know. Say hello in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me, if the visual's okay, all that stuff. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be signing some books, some very special cool books that I have right here. These are the Cimarron Dove Spur Award Edition. So they have this really cool Spur Award finalist sticker on there. When I went to Amarillo for the Spur Awards ceremony, they gave me this sheet of stickers. I did not know I was going to be getting it, but I was super excited about it. I started geeking out. They gave me this sheet of stickers with the Spur Award finalist on it. So cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to put these on some books so people can enjoy them, because I wasn't just like, why would I keep them all for myself? So yeah, I'm going to be signing those today, and we have this special little mug here, which is right on theme. If you know, you know. But we're going to be using this today to do a little drawing later on, because one special person who ordered one of these Spur Award copies is going to get a free copy of Gone Outlaw, my first book. So if you win the free copy and you already have a copy of Gone Outlaw, you can give it to a friend, a family member, somebody who you think might really enjoy it. So, hello, Kevin. Welcome. Glad everything is working good. Uh-oh. Sound intermittent. Yeah, I've been having some internet struggles today with the Wi-Fi. I do not know what's going on with that. But of course that would happen on a live streaming day. So just let me know, guys, if we're having some difficulties. I can like take a pause. Hey, Anthony. You discovered I'm live by accident. Well, there's a happy accident. Used to love going to book launches. How fun. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I can't believe it's been a year since Cimarron Dove came out. It's really weird how time flies. Hey, Estrada. Yeah, honestly, it seems like with each year that goes by, the time just goes by faster. And I'm like, can we just slow down for a second, please? Oh my goodness. I'm giving it just a few minutes here, like about till 3:05-ish before I start signing, just in case there's some more people who want to come in and see their book get signed. I don't want to jump in too quickly. But yeah, we're just going to be doing kind of an informal Q&A too the whole time. Like if you want to ask questions while I'm signing, and then after I'm done signing, we're just going to do a Q&A. I don't know. I'm assuming this stream will probably go about an hour. We're just going to hang out and chat and celebrate the book birthday. And yeah, I'll answer any questions you guys have about Cimarron Dove, Sunset Legends as a series, or if you have questions about Gone Outlaw. There may or may not be spoilers in this conversation. I don't know. I'm happy to answer spoiler questions if somebody has those. But I don't know. I don't know if someone in the chat might get mad if they get spoiled on something, but maybe this should just be like a kind of a heads up. This is a spoiler-friendly stream. So yeah, you can ask me questions about any of my books, the series, or just the writing process itself. I do want to keep the questions more writing and book centric on this live stream, but I'm happy to do some questions too, like about movie reactions or artwork and stuff like that. So it's a free-for-all Q&A today. It's true, Anthony, time does speed up as you get older with each year. Yes, unfortunately. When is number 3 coming out? I'm hoping late next year, like like maybe winter of next year. I don't know if that's going to happen. I've made a pact with myself. I was like, I am not going to rush this book at all. So it comes out when it comes out. If it doesn't come out in the winter of next year, 2026, it'll be like spring of 2027. I don't want it to be too long before it comes out. I'm already in the process of writing it, so it kind of just depends on how fast the writing process goes. We're just playing it by ear. I love being an indie author because I get to decide when everything comes out. I don't have to meet a deadline from a publisher of like, this book needs to be done by this date, and you do whatever you need to do to make it happen. I'm so glad I don't have to do that. I don't have to compromise on the quality of the story to meet a deadline. So it gets done when it gets done. I went into this one with the full scene outline already completed, so I already know the whole story now. I just have to write it. So that's what I'm working on now. Hello, Isam. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. You just read my book for the first time. Loved it. Amazing storytelling. Thank you so much. Which book did you read? Did you read Cimarron Dove or Gone Outlaw? Sean, actually, when I wrote Gone Outlaw, I thought it was going to be a one-off. I was not planning for it to be a series at all. And then by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, well, darn, I'm sad. Like, I want to know what happens to these characters next and where does the story go. So, but by the time I got to the end and like of the first draft, and then I was going back and working on the second draft, I was already starting to come up with some ideas for what book two could be and would be. So it was kind of like at the end of the first draft, I started having ideas, and then when I started working on the second draft, I started kind of dropping in little tidbits that would hint at what was coming in book two. So yeah, originally I planned for Gone Outlaw just to be a one-off, standalone story, and then I was like, okay, suddenly I'm having more ideas, and I don't want to say goodbye to these characters, and I want to write more. So yeah, at that point, book two, I started having ideas for that. It started taking shape in my head, and I started working on that one long before Outlaw was even published. So I knew by the point that I started working on book two, it was going to be more than two books. And so the whole time working on book two, I was setting up book three. Because, yeah, at that point, I knew I was doing a series that was going to be at least 3 books long. So, yeah, by book two, I kind of had more of an overarching plan starting to come into shape. It was like, I still remember, it was one particular night I was working on book two, and I suddenly had this idea of like, wow, this, like, I suddenly got it kind of an overarching idea for the series, and I just got so excited. And yeah, it's funny. It's really funny looking back now how I thought I was just going to write one and be done with it. And now it's turning into this epic series. Don't worry, writing my book at the Overlook Hotel. That will most certainly not be happening. Oh, awesome. You read Gone Outlaw? Awesome. Would love a theatrical. No, I mean, there is an audiobook. There's an immersive version here on my YouTube that's coming out weekly, and there's the original, or like, what's the word? Typical's wrong. The narrative version is on Audible, where there's no sound effects or music or anything like that. Kind of the average audiobook experience that listeners expect to have. But here on YouTube, I've gone a bit crazy, and we have the immersive version with sound effects and music and all of that. So now, if you mean like theatrical release, I too would love a theatrical release of Gone Outlaw. I want a movie so bad. So if any directors, producers are listening to this, call me, because I would love for my books to be a movie series or a streaming series. I think that would be really cool. Hey, Celeste. Have you tried to get the books in the average bookstore, or is it basically hard to get that done as a new author? I mean, you basically have to have a publisher to do that. So with me being a self-published author, it's not really bookstore friendly. I am in the like online version of bookstores like Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. If you go on Barnes and Noble online, you'll find my books. So I'm in the online version of bookstores, but not the in-person like walk-in bookstore. So um, yeah, they're much friendlier to that if you're like in just their online store, if you're a self-published author. And to answer your other question, yes, I changed many ideas that I had along the way. There's, well, Shauna for one, I don't know if I've said this before. Shauna, who's in Cimarron Dove, she was originally going to be in Gone Outlaw from pretty early on in the story. She was supposed to play a pretty big role in Gone Outlaw, but the direction the story went and the way things just played out, she didn't fit. And so I ended up just cutting her out of the story entirely. She was kind of distracting because there were so many characters already, and then she was there kind of competing for time too. And it was just it was too many characters, too much going on. So I ended up just cutting her entirely out of Gone Outlaw and moving her to Cimarron Dove, which I'm so glad I did. I think it worked so much better that way. I need to start signing. I said I was gonna wait till like 3:05 and we're way past that. So I'm going to start signing people's books and I will get to questions in between too. So we are going to be signing David's book first today. And if I missed your question, I'm sorry. Please just send it again later. Like just put it in the chat again. I won't get mad if you repeat your question. All right. I'm sorry you guys can't see the book down here. It's in my lap, I promise. I need to get like a better live stream set up where you guys can see better when I'm signing the books. Because I'm just in my usual movie reaction area. All right. Next, I'm signing John's. There we go. Got your book signed, John. Okay, let me make sure I don't miss too much here. Where was that? I lost my spot. Oh. Curious, some characters were religiously motivated. Is that how you thought about them? I'm a little confused on the wording of the question. I mean, yes. The short answer is yes. Like, a lot of my characters do have a specific religion, their faith, and that is what strongly motivates them. Dinah in Gone Outlaw. And then I almost slipped up. I do that so much. I can't say anything about book 3 yet, but faith continues to be a very strong theme in book 3. It's kind of not, it's a little more under the surface in book 2. It's not as much at the forefront. It's there. But I mean, because my faith is so central to my life, it's definitely always central in my writing as well. So I love writing characters with different perspectives too. Characters who are more like me, and then some characters who are completely the opposite of me. I love just including a variety of perspectives. And one thing I can say about book 3 without getting too specific is, like, in my first 2 books, I had 2 points of view that I was switching between. Book 2, I also kind of threw in a third near the end for a few chapters, but it was mostly 2 points of view. Book 3 is going to be different in that it's going to be 4 points of view throughout the book. So I'm going to be getting really deep into the heads of 4 different characters, and none of them are new characters. They're all previously established characters. I don't want to say who yet. I want it to be a surprise, but it's going to be so much fun just continuing to develop these characters and their points of view. And I want to get more into your question and a more detailed answer with like regards to book 3 too of, but what I'll say is I've got 4 points of view in book 3 and they're all very different in terms of like their ideology and what they believe and why they believe it, their faith, all that stuff is different. And so it's, yeah, it's going to be so much fun. It already is so much fun, and I'm very early on in the writing process, but I hope that answered your question. The wording was a little difficult for me, but that's okay. Miniseries, yes, Celeste, I agree. Awesome, Celeste. You've gifted both books to friends. I love it. Yeah, I always imagine it like I think it would work better as kind of a mini series thing because movies are confined to like 2 or 3 hours unless you break it into like part one and part two. I love the idea of like an 1883 series where it's like 7 or 8 episodes per season. And I've already thought it out so much. Like book one could be 7 or 8 episodes, and then book two could be 7 or 8 episodes. Like, and you break it up into seasons. Book one is season one, book two is season two, so on and so forth. I think that could be so fun. And then each episode is like 45 minutes to an hour. It would be perfect. Hello, Yosef. I hope I'm saying that. And from Southern Maryland. Huge reader. Have you heard of a novel titled Traveler about Robert E. Lee's horse? No, I haven't. I did know that that's Robert E. Lee's horse, but I didn't know he had a novel about him. That's really neat. Is it like a kind of historical thing, or is it a fictional novel with historical basis? Zigzee, I'm going to call you that because it's easier for me to pronounce, but I'm glad I answered your question. Because you're totally right. Yeah, so many stories today are either completely amoral or they kind of ignore religion and faith. They kind of cast that aside, and it's just people doing whatever they want because they want to, and it's just their own like personal human reasoning and not a deeper reason behind it. So um yeah, faith-based stories obviously they mean more to me on a personal level. And yeah, I think it's unfortunate how so much of stories and like movies, books, and things today just ignore faith entirely. So um, yeah, I wanted to be refreshing in that regard, like bringing it back into my storytelling so that I can feed the audience that does want that in their stories, because kind of been in a bit of a drought these days. There's a lot of nihilism in the culture too. So yeah, I wanted to push back a little against that. Awesome. Yosef used to have a whole book collection donated to your library in St. Mary's. Awesome. I bet they appreciated that. Hello, Marcos from Brazil. Oh, you would like to interview me for your channel. How nice. Send me an email. Contact@MadisonTames.com. You can find my email in lots of places. It's like here on my YouTube. I think it's like in the bio or the links section. Or you can just go to my website, MadisonTames.com, and email me there. It'll go straight to my email. And yeah, we can talk about it. I would love to do an interview. I need to keep signing. I keep getting distracted. Oh, cool. The book about Traveler is from the point of view of the horse. That's neat. I love it. I've read a couple of books like that when I was a kid, where they were horse novels and they were written from the point of view of the horse. I thought it was so fun. All right. Pat, your book is up next. There you go. Got yours signed for you. Who we got next? Guillermo. Got your sign. I figured I'd just show you guys briefly the signed book since you can't actually see me writing on it. Who's my favorite character in my book? Oh, I both love and hate that question because it's like asking who my favorite child is because they're all my brainchild. I would guess in Cimarron Dove, my favorite character, God, that's hard. I might have to say Marcus. I love Marcus so much. I'm going with Marcus today. You know, my answer may change tomorrow, but today it's Marcus. You're right, Celeste. Go woke, go broke, right? So yeah, I want to see a big movement of independent stories. And yeah, I'm just getting so tired of the same big studios putting out garbage that's all the same. Not a lot of thought and effort and meaning put into it, just a bunch of popcorn flicks. Or there's just an obvious agenda and no substance. Yeah, I hate how hard it is to get just individual creatives like to get their movies made or get their series made because they just don't have the money, they just don't have the budget or the power, the influence that these big studios have. I hope there's a big movement coming up, just more independent media, movies, series, and thank goodness we have Amazon, we as self-publishers, because publishers are very specific about what they will and will not take, and they have a bit of creative control over you and like what you put in your book. If they tell you to delete a chapter, you have to do it. So thank goodness. That's one positive thing about the big corporation that is Amazon. It has opened the door for self-publishing. So we creatives can publish a book for free. Like me, I have an editor, I have a formatter, I have to pay them, obviously, but just the act of publishing itself, hitting publish on Amazon, is free. So that's just a really amazing opportunity for independent authors. So thank goodness for that. Ziggy, your questions are not annoying at all. That's why I'm here. I'm here to answer y'all's questions. So, and it has been too long. It's been too long since I did a live stream. But yeah, no, I'm not annoyed by your questions at all. I love the deep questions. And I'm so glad that you find my books refreshing. That means a lot. Hello, Frank. Oh, your bedtime there in Germany. I get it. Yeah, y'all are like 6 hours ahead of us. Thank you. Have a nice, well, I started to say have a nice day to you too, but have a nice night and a nice day tomorrow and an upcoming weekend. And I'm so glad you enjoyed my movie reactions. Thank you, Frank. Hello, Larry. And hello, Pat. Pat, I just signed your book a minute ago. I hope you saw it. I hope you didn't miss it. What are your 3 essential Westerns? Y'all are asking the hard questions today. Oh gosh. Should I say my 3 favorite Westerns? Because I can't say like what are the 3 best Westerns of all time. That's just gonna be inflammatory. Hello, Daniel. Welcome. I've just been asked a really hard question. Okay, he said 3 essential Westerns. Like, I guess if this would be like if someone has never watched a Western before and I'm like recommending 3 Westerns for them to watch. One of them has to be The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's an essential Western. And I feel like there has to be a John Wayne movie in there because, I mean, when you think of Westerns, you think of Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. So, oh man, that's really hard. Part of me wants to say The Searchers, but I've only seen it one time and it's been a really long time. Oh man. But I remember it being so amazing. I would either say like The Searchers or The Cowboys to get a John Wayne movie in there. So let's just say since I remember The Cowboys more vividly since I watched it more recently, I'm going to go with The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and The Cowboys. And I might have to go with Once Upon a Time in the West. I mean, that's an epic classic. That's another Sergio Leone film, which might be considered cheating by some of you, but I mean, he made the essential Westerns. Yeah, I think that's my 3 I'm going with today. Iconic, epic Westerns that if somebody had never seen a Western before, I would be like, you need to watch these and you'll get the gist of what it's all about. Good afternoon, Jason. Glad you could make it. Oh, thank you, Celeste. I have a little bit of an obsession with turquoise. I love it so much. Oh no, Pat, you missed the signing. That's okay. You can always watch it back later. Okay. Let me get back to signing before I get distracted again. Verity, this is your book I'm signing next. There we go. Got it signed for you. And let me go ahead and do my last one here, and then we can just have a straight up Q&A for the last half hour. All right, Lisa, this one is yours. And I have addressed it just as you requested. It's an inside joke, guys. All right, so everybody's book is signed. Oh, and I also, don't let me forget, guys, I have to do the drawing. Should I go ahead and do the drawing and then we can just do the straight up Q&A for the last half hour here? All right, so for those who missed it, we're doing a little drawing today. I'm gonna draw a name out of the mug, and whoever's name I draw out of the mug gets a free copy of Gone Outlaw, my first book. So cross your fingers and your toes. Here it comes. All right, I'm not looking. Do. This is the part where a drum roll would play if I had sound effects. All right. Whose name did I draw? Lisa. Lisa, you get a free copy of Gone Outlaw. How exciting. All right. That was fun. I love doing drawings. I need to do stuff like that more. It's just so much fun. All right. So, okay, let me get caught up on the chat here. What time of day do I like to write? I mean, I write whenever I just get time. So it depends on what I'm doing each day, but I can write at any time of day. I would say most often it's usually in the afternoon or the evening. Most often it's in the evening slash like nighttime. I feel like that's when my imagination is most active and I can just like everything's quiet. I'm done with everything else for the day and I can really just like zone in on the writing. But I'm flexible. I can write first thing in the morning, I can write in the middle of the afternoon, or in the evening. It just depends on the day. Daniel, those are both very good. Yeah. Oh man, see, I feel like I have to have a John Wayne movie in there, but Dances with Wolves. Like if I had to replace one, out of the three, I would replace The Cowboys with Dances with Wolves. Like, man, that movie's so good. Unforgiven is great, but it's like a revisionist Western. It's not the typical Western. So like if I was gonna show somebody just three Westerns, I wouldn't show them that one. Because I feel like they have to have, like they need to know what the traditional Westerns are like to really appreciate Unforgiven. Hey David, watching from Turkey, from the States, but on a Churches of Revelation tour. That's really cool. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoy my books. That means a lot. Again, the word refreshing. I love that. And I really appreciate that because I hate cynical storytelling. And hate is a strong word, but I hate it. I can appreciate like tragic stories every now and then that are like really well done. But just cynical storytelling in general, there's just such a trend of it lately, and I hate it. Like where you get to the end of something and you're like, why did I spend hours watching that? Like the characters learned nothing, they didn't change, they didn't become better people. Like everything was kind of for nothing. I hate that kind of storytelling. I guess it's some people enjoy it, but I don't like it. The Shootist, I haven't seen that one yet. It's on my list to react to, but I haven't seen it yet. Search, Butch Cassidy, Rio Bravo. Yeah, those are all good. Yeah. How many books do I print? Well, I have two books written, so working on the third. Did you expect the success of your movie reactions? I didn't expect anything when I started the channel. I wanted to give movie reactions a try. I've always loved movies, and yeah, I've always just loved movies, loved watching them, and I thought, why not just start a reaction channel, start filming myself watching these movies, because it could be really fun and entertaining. Because I had watched, there was one particular reaction channel I was watching at the time, and I thought that looks so fun. I want to give it a try. So they definitely inspired me, because I don't know if I would have thought of that idea otherwise. But no, I mean, you never know, like, is it gonna flop? Is anybody gonna want to watch me watch a movie? But yeah, I very grateful for every single subscriber and patron that I have, for sure. Would you ever want to hike the Continental Divide Trail, National Historic Trail from Canada to Mexico? I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make I like short hikes, like 2 hours or like max 5 hour, like 4 or 5 hours. That's as long as I want to hike at one time. Like, yeah, I would never be able to do, I don't think, one of those cross country things where you like from the East Coast to the West Coast or north to south. That would, I mean, that would be amazing. You would see a lot of amazing things, but no, I personally, I wouldn't make it. But I greatly applaud everyone who can do that. Old Henry, yeah, I think my parents have watched that one, but I haven't seen it yet. I think they liked it, if I remember right. The anti-hero versus the hero. Well, I love what are called gray characters. Like, they're not just straight up heroic, but they're not just straight up a villain either. I mean, if you've read my books, you know. Look at my leading men, Joseph and Marcus. That's what I like. I love, um, I mean, they're both outlaws. What, what more can I say? They're both outlaws. And they're not good. I don't want to, should I get the spoilers? I mean, okay. I'll say without spoiling too much, like Joseph's arc is my favorite thing. There's so many characters, like if I just named them right now, it's like I have a type of character that I just absolutely love. I love the brooding dark characters who um they start off walking the wrong path, but they end up finding their way. I love a good redemption arc. So like I love the heroes too, but I love a redemption arc. So I guess like anti-hero is kind of my vibe. Do you like to have your story outlined before you write, or do you just do a first draft and see where it goes? I never start with nothing. Um, and I've kind of refined my process as I've gone, but like with Gone Outlaw, I had a loose outline. I knew how I was going to start the story and I knew how it was going to end generally. So I knew my end goal that I was working toward the whole time. And I had like certain scenes like that I knew I was going to do. Um, but there were a lot of gaps, a lot of blank spots that I kind of filled in as I was going. And after I did the first draft, I basically had to rewrite the book. I I have worked with the same editor on all of my books, and there was a lot that I kept, but there was a lot that I completely changed. Basically had to rewrite the book, and so it changed so much. And for the first time when I'm doing on book three, I should say in between on book two, I got a little more refined. I outlined a little more thoroughly before I started. Book three, for the first time, I'm going to have 4 points of view, and because it is definitely the most complex story I've written yet, with so many arcs and things happening, I was like, I need to really plan this out. So before I've even started this first draft, I did a whole scene by scene outline. Every scene, what was happening in the scene, like the setting, all the details. And then I sent the scene outline to my editor, revised it, and now I'm finally starting the first draft. So my process has really changed as I've gotten more experienced and learned from my mistakes. And yeah, on this book, I was like, I need to really be prepared and know the whole story, not just the beginning and the end, but like fill in everything in between. Because if I do that right off the bat, like before I even start writing it, I can write with better intention and like foreknowledge of what, like all the threads I'm trying to weave together. And it's just going to save me a lot of time. I'm not going to have to write the first draft trying to figure out what the story is and where it's all going, and then have to totally rewrite the whole thing when the second draft comes along. I think it is already speeding up my writing process because I already have the scene outline to work from, so it's definitely speeding up the writing process itself and refining it. And yeah, I think it's just going to save me a whole lot of time and extra effort. So I recommend doing a scene by scene outline. I think now that I've tried it, I'm never going to go back. I love the organization of it. And there's still room for lots of like improv and imagination along the way. It doesn't mean you're stuck to something. It just gives you a guideline to work from. Hello, Erwin. Glad you could join the chat. The Big Country, that's a really good one. Great Western. Yeah, I mean, right, Anthony? Like you can't beat a good redemption arc. It's so good. It's so inspiring too. Like you don't want to see a character who just starts off perfect and everybody admires how great and wonderful they are the whole time, and that's not relatable. That's where the whole concept of a Mary Sue comes from, where it's just like, look at this woman, look how great she is, look how powerful she is, and everybody admires her because she's just so pretty and smart and likable, and there's nothing wrong with her. Nothing. I mean, she sneezed one time, but I like, other than that, she's no. Hate it. Give me the flawed characters every day of the week, because that's how people are in real life. Like, we're all flawed. We all make mistakes. We all mess up, and we all have different things that we're struggling with to different degrees. And so we want to see characters that reflect that, like reflect the human condition, and we want to see them grow and overcome whatever flaws and things or trials they're struggling through. We want to see them overcome it and how they did it, so that it's like lessons we take into our own lives. Like, they inspire us. Seeing a hero on the screen overcome something, it inspires you to be better in your own life. And if it's a character where like they're struggling with the same thing as you, it just, yeah, it's inspiring, it's meaningful. And yeah, you're right. A lot of writers, yeah, exactly, can't really walk the line between anti-hero and cynicism. They just go full cynicism, or nihilism, as I like to call it. Yeah. When do you expect the last book of the trilogy to be published? Pat, so I said earlier that I'm aiming for winter of 2026, but I'm not committing to it yet. I have to see how fast the writing process goes, and then like doing the second draft and all that. So I'm aiming for winter of 2026, but if that doesn't happen, probably spring of 2027. What movies favorites, or what characters and movies did you enjoy? Oh, thank you for the super chat. Titanic. Okay, I'll get to the super chat in just a second. Okay. My favorite movies. Short answer, Lord of the Rings trilogy. All day, every day. Lord of the Rings trilogy. What are your Halloween picks? Suggesting Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead, The Fog, Day of the Dead. Great channel. Thank you. So I don't have my Halloween picks lined up yet. That is still in flux. There will definitely be a poll or two where I'll have just scary movie polls and let the patrons pick. And if I get some specific like patron requests, I'll do those. So the schedule is not lined up yet, but I've definitely got some ideas for some movies that I want to put on the polls this year. We'll have to see though. There's some that like I've had on polls for the last couple of years and they just haven't won yet. I'm like, one day, one day it'll win. What is the name of that hat? Well, I mean, this is a Resistol. That's the brand. So, yeah, they make awesome hats. I love them so much. I don't remember like if this, I mean, I'm sure this model has a particular name, but I'm not sure. I feel like it had horseshoe because it's got a, you can't see it, but there's a horseshoe on the side of the band. It's kind of the way like the buckle is shaped, and so I think it was called horseshoe something. Howdy, Texas. And thank you for the congratulations. Time does fly, indeed. Do you have any ideas for novels after your trilogy, or do you want to write something besides Westerns? Should I tell Pat that it's not a trilogy? No, that's a good question, Pat, because I haven't officially said that, but it's actually not a trilogy. There is a book 4. I realized after outlining book 3 that I could not put it all into one book. It was impossible. It was going to be it was going to be like rushed. It was like, or it was going to be like cramming 2 books into one. And so, yeah, there is going to be a book 4. I don't know beyond that. No, book 4 may or may not be the last one. We'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, there is going to be a book 4. But to answer your other question, yes, I definitely plan to write other genres. I've had a fantasy series in my head since like middle school, and I definitely want to write that at some point. I don't know when I'm going to get to it. It's a huge undertaking. All of the work and development that has to go on. I still work on it off and on because it's going to take me years just to get the world building, get all of that fleshed out and all of that before I can even like start outlining those books. So that's years down the road. But yes, I have always been a huge fantasy fan. I love it. So I definitely want to write that series at some point. Yes, Anthony, my friends, you bow to no one. Lord of the Rings is the best. A reaction to Bone Tomahawk. I love Kurt Russell, and yeah, westerns are my favorite, but man, the things I've heard about that movie, it's not like I don't know anything about the plot or any details. People act like it's really scary and really disturbing, and so I'm scared to watch it. I'm scared. I guess I won't say no, like never say never, I guess, but that movie scares me. You ever read books by Charles Williams? I have not. Pat, do not apologize. That's why we are here. We're here for all the writing questions today. Dan, you're still reading Cimarron Dove? Hey, that is okay. I can't wait to hear what you think about it. The female Louis L'Amour, I will take that all day long. Huge compliment. Have you started Songs of the Distant or Songs of Distant Earth? I tried to put a "the" in the title that wasn't there. No, I haven't, Celeste. The unfortunate thing about doing so much writing and planning about my books and series and all that sort of stuff and research is that I don't read as much as I used to. I do still read, but I move very slowly. And so it'll take me like a year to get through a book because I just don't read as much as I used to because I spend most of my free time writing and not reading. So I have not. I'm sorry to say. People, they give me books and I feel so bad. They're like, have you read this yet? And I'm like, no. And I feel awful, but I just, oh my gosh, it's really hard doing doing so many things at once. Uh, my art and my books and my YouTube channel. It's just, I know it sounds like an excuse. Sounds like an excuse. I should always make time for reading because it's very important, but I have to say it kind of falls by the wayside these days. I'll have 10 minutes in the evening sometimes and I'll like just sit down and read a little bit of something. Yes, I do have a reaction to Kingdom of Heaven. I loved some things about it, hated other things about it. So, uh-oh, the stream froze. Are we good? Okay, good, the stream's back. It froze for a second. Stuff. Okay, so Williams' books are supernatural thrillers with deep theological issues. Interesting. Oh, the stream keeps freezing. Are we there? Okay. I'm having major internet struggles today. I don't know what's going on with that, but does your visual art writing? Your prose is very visually detailed. I would say yes, Pat, because I always describe my writing style as cinematic. And I mean, it comes from partially from me being an artist and also my love of movies, which is why I call it cinematic because I did so much reading growing up for sure, but I've just always really loved movies and just film as a medium. I'm a very visual person, and so whenever I'm writing anything, I picture it like a movie. I really take my time to think. I even kind of think about it in terms of camera shots in a way. I'm like, what is happening right here and what angle am I looking at it from and what are people like, what is the reader seeing? What do I need to describe here and what's important? It's like, do I need to zoom out here or do I need to zoom in? I kind of think of it that way. Like I think of it like I'm shooting a movie almost. And yeah, I picture everything like it's a movie. So yes, very visual with the way that I write, and I don't want to control what the reader is picturing, but I want to describe it as vividly as I can so that they don't have trouble picturing anything. Have you seen the Western Appaloosa with Viggo Mortensen? I have not, but it's on my list to watch. You're here, just a bit of buffering. Well, I'm glad I'm here, even if I'm blurry and buffering. It's better than nothing. Do you want October movie suggestions list? Sure, Celeste. Send me all the recommendations. I am always open to suggestions. Because horror is a genre where I feel like people can still like tell me a lot of movies that I either just haven't heard of, wasn't aware of, because I just didn't grow up watching horror movies. I was a scaredy cat. It's only been since I started my channel, really, that I've started watching horror movies, and I really do love them. And the good thing, I guess, is that I didn't grow up watching a ton of them, so there were so many of the classics that I could react to when I started my channel, like Halloween or Friday the 13th or The Shining. Hadn't seen any of that stuff. But boy, have I had fun with them. I love laughing at myself too when I watch it back. Just seeing how completely scared out of my wits I got at certain scenes. Hilarious. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream in just a few minutes. So if anybody has any last minute questions they want me to get to, now is the time. Zodiac isn't really hard, but it would still make a good Halloween watch. Is that about the Zodiac killer, I'm assuming? Ziggy, write the book. If you have an idea for a book, write it. And don't be intimidated by the great stories that are already out there, because you don't have to be Tolkien. I remind myself of that every day. It's intimidating when there's people like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and J.K. Rowling out there, but they did their thing. They told the story that was in their head and on their heart, and you have a story that's on your heart that you feel the urge to write. Do it, because no one can do it just like you. We're all unique individuals, and no one's gonna write something exactly the way you do. So it's like, sure, there's a million good fantasy stories or a million good westerns already out there, but you haven't written your western yet, or you haven't written your fantasy story yet. It's going to be unique to you, your characters, your world that you create, everything. So don't get distracted or discouraged comparing yourself to other authors, because they've already done their thing, and there's a different audience for each author too, and your story is going to speak to different people than theirs would. So write the story. When in doubt, always write the story. The Stand by Stephen King. I haven't heard of that one. Thank you so much, Estrada. So glad you enjoy the stories and that you have no trouble picturing them. Yeah, that's the goal. Pat, I mean, as a kid, I was a crazy horse girl, so everything I read had horses in it. um, yeah, I was obsessed with series like the Black Stallion series and all of the ensuing spin-offs. I loved the Thoroughbred series. Yeah, anything with horses in it, I was obsessed. Uh, Trying to think. I loved the American Girl stories too, which those were kind of like a crossover. They would be, I guess, kind of historical in some ways. But yeah, I mean, growing up and into like my teen years and stuff, I loved Harry Potter, read all of that, read Lord of the Rings. I read like the Hunger Games series. Um, I read a ton of Star Wars books. I mean, I've always been a lifelong Star Wars fan, so all of that expanded universe stuff that was coming out back in the day before Disney purchased Star Wars, before the dark times. Um, I read a ton of the new Jedi Order series and the Legacy of the Force series. I mean, probably have like 50 Star Wars books. So I read a lot of that sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, the Star Wars world was what I read most of in that genre. But yeah, so I grew up reading a lot of, again, like horse stuff, sci-fi, fantasy. I really didn't read westerns growing up. That was just something that came later. Never really grew up watching westerns, maybe a couple of them. But again, all of that really came later for me. In the early days, it was more just a love of horses that eventually grew into a love of all things Western. Same, Anthony. Big horror fan, but not into the gore. I agree with you. I'm not a fan of gore. I can handle it as long as it's not too bad. There's a certain, like, I have a threshold. And yes, I have an idea for a horror story right now. I just don't know when I'm going to get around to writing it. And I am currently planning for it to be set in the Old West. Yes. It's definitely not going to be modern day. I like historical settings. And so currently I am thinking it's going to be set in the Old West, so I can keep it in that Western genre. Um, but yeah, I have the idea for it. I have the title. I have like the characters. It's just not fully fleshed out yet because I'm a little too busy to start really working on it right now. But yeah, I love horror. It's so much fun, and I think it would be really fun to write, like writing jump scares. I want to do that so bad. So, yeah, the two like on my checklist, other than just writing westerns, are like fantasy and horror. I want to, I want to tap into those genres. Good to see you, Erwin. I'm glad you could come hang out with us. Have not read the book All the Pretty Horses. Exactly, Daniel. Like there's kind of a movement right now happening where there's more like Western horror or kind of like fantasy Western stuff starting. Like that's kind of a trend right now. Um, with more of those like hybrid genre things happening with Westerns where they go like sci-fi Western, fantasy Western, or like horror Western. But yeah, there's not really a lot of movies that fit that. Very, very few. Hello, John. Thank you so much. Exactly, Daniel. It makes it scarier because, like, if you do a modern scary movie, there's only like the internet, the computers, the phones, everybody's really connected. It's easier to reach somebody if you're in trouble. If you're in the late 1800s and the guy's chasing you with an axe, you're just like on foot running. Like, you can't call anybody. You can't, you may or may not have a high powered weapon that you have access to. Um, Yeah, it's scary. You're out in the middle of nowhere. There may or may not be a sheriff. Like, it can be really scary. I'm so glad you're enjoying the audiobook, John. That just makes me so happy. See you, Celeste. Thanks for hanging out. I'll do one or two more questions, but I have gone over my hour. I promised it was going to be an hour, and I've gone over. So maybe one or two more questions, guys, and then I'm going to wrap up the stream for today. Blood Meridian. I've heard of that one by Cormac McCarthy, but I have not read it yet. Cormac McCarthy is one of my favorites. I didn't even mention that. That's probably the book I've read most recently that I'm like, that's one of my top three or five books of all time. No Country for Old Men. Absolutely love it. First read it a few years ago after I saw the movie and love it. It's so good. Did you come to Salina to research the city or area? Plenty of info at our Smoky Hill Museum. I have been to Salina, John, but it was after I wrote the book. So in the June of 2023, it was the month before Gone Outlaw actually came out. I did like a celebration trip and I went out to Kansas and I visited all these different locations that were in the book. And I actually got footage. I've never posted it anywhere, but I got a bunch of footage that I was like, I need to do like a behind the scenes kind of documentary, like talking about the different places I chose and like showing, like, I just walked around those places and filmed and stuff. And I was like, this could be really cool. Like, if I did kind of a little docu-series thing, like about like a certain location and like this scene happened here and all of that. So during that trip, I did go to Salina. I was there for like, I think a couple of days. And yeah, went down like Santa Fe Avenue and checked out some of the local restaurants. And it was a very quick like passing through. I didn't go to the museum, but I like hiked some of the trails around there just to kind of immerse myself in the area the landscape, that kind of stuff. So I did think two different trails I hiked while I was there, and it was really, really neat. Went down to the Smoky Hill River, and it was just weird. It was like an out of body experience, like actually being in the places I had written about. And really good research too for certain locations that may or may not be returning in future books. I'm just saying. To be interested in reacting to Dog Soldiers. It's a werewolf film. I have not heard of that. I mean, never say never. Yeah, I'm sorry, John. I went there in secret. I didn't announce it. I didn't announce it beforehand. All right, guys, thank you so much for the questions. Thanks for hanging out today. This is really fun. I always love doing these live streams and just chatting with you guys. It's just so much fun. And yeah, thanks to everybody who ordered a Spur Award edition copy of Cimarron Dove. I'll be shipping these out as soon as I can. And congratulations again to Lisa for winning the free copy of Gone Outlaw. I think Lisa already has a copy of Gone Outlaw, so she can share it with a friend or a family member who might also be interested in the story. Yeah, thanks again, guys, so much for hanging out today, and this was a lot of fun. Let's see, try not to miss anything on the chat here. Yeah, I have not seen 2001 yet, so there could be a reaction for that one. See you, Pat. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys. Started to say tomorrow, but I do have a reaction going up tomorrow, but not a live premiere. Tomorrow is going to be McCabe and Mrs. Miller, so I have a Western film going up tomorrow. And then chapter 11 of the Gone Outlaw audiobook coming next Wednesday, Western Wednesday as I call it. And then next Friday is another patron pick. I'm not going to share what it is just yet, but we've got another patron pick coming next week. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And I will see y'all next Friday for another live premiere. So see you guys then. Bye, everybody.